was built without the approval of the parish priest. And according to the agreement between the parishes and the Melbourne Archdiocesan schools, any changes must be approved in writing by the parish priest, and the plan must be approved in writing. There was no consultation about this fence. This fence is actually a fire hazard because most of the people that go to this church are elderly. They come out the side door. Half of the car park actually is designated as church property, half is designated as belonging to the school. In the July break, the posts for this fence were erected. Father came back. He was away for 2 weeks on official business. He came back. He spoke to the principal and told her to stop any construction, as you can see by the notes on the fence. He had to go for the second half of the conference. While he was away, she had the fence completed. That is totally against the written agreement between the schools and the parishes. The only person who can make a decision on this issue is the Archbishop.
Give back our parish land! Give back our parish land! Give back our parish land!
How long have you been a parishioner here?
50 years.
And you are?
Elizabeth Ferranato. I've also been a parishioner for 51 years.
And why are you here today?
To protest against the fence.
Protesting against the fence, which is a disgrace. It makes the church look like a prison instead of a church.
How do you feel when you come and see this in front of the church?
I think the parishioners have got a right to be able to use the church as well as anyone else, including the children in the school. And I think there's not as many children in that school as there is parishioners that come to the church.
Church is really the last place I would expect to see something like this happening. So I'm really angry and I'm really sad.
I feel like in the cage. It's all fences around. Like you can't breathe. You can't breathe here. Why is everybody grabbing the land from the church's property? That's no good.
And why are you here today?
Particularly concerned about the way the fence was installed and that it didn't happen with the parish priest's permission. In fact, he was making very clear his opposition to the construction while it was going on, and his voice didn't seem to have any impact. It was kind of a land grab and unauthorised use of the parish's property.
Something must be seriously wrong if the right channels aren't being utilised for particular tasks relating to a parish and a school. So I think that really needs to be looked at.
Let's have a look at this. The actual church is in control and owns half of the car park that's been completely blocked off by this fence. If it was done reasonably, the fence would be halfway in the car park or even further back towards the school. Previously what happened is people would park in that car park and they'd be able to go from their car straight into the church through this entrance, only a few steps. Now, because of this fence, they have to walk all that way, come out here, through this gate, walk up there. Now for young people, that's not an issue. But when you're 70 or 80 years old, that makes the trip 4 times as long. Here you can see there's really only a couple of meters. If you have a person walking down here with a walker, it obstructs most people to try and get around. If there is an emergency, a lot of people panic. They come here and they can't get out. So they'll be trapped.
The fence is a fire trap! The fence is a fire trap! The fence is a fire trap!
If there was a fire in the church or ambulance had to come, how do you think we would cope with clearing that church out?
If you had a big crowd and a lot of people trying to get away from a fire in the building, it would take longer with this fence the way it is.
People have already mentioned the elderly, and there are elderly here, and you can imagine it'll be quite a panic. The restricted space to move will have its impact.
I'd hate to have a heart attack in the church because where is the ambulance going to fit? Really, there's not much room to get through at all. So I'd be dead before the ambulance arrived.
I can't imagine a fire engine getting through there either. An ambulance would have trouble, and then a fire engine, which is bigger and longer and whatever else, how is he going to turn around there? He's not.
This is the church. If there was an emergency like a fire, before they would exit through that door, go straight to the evacuation assembly area. This is all clear for emergency vehicles. Now they have to exit through that very narrow passage to the double gates if they're open and access the evacuation assembly area. However, the emergency vehicles cannot actually get between the fence and the church because the area is too narrow.
I think if there were a fire situation, you've only got the one exit, which is going downhill, and if people in the panic went uphill, they basically have nowhere to go. The fence just runs out of room. People wouldn't be able to get through there because it's so narrow at the uphill end of the church.
An older person panicking and trying to get through the other side, I don't think they can.
We're now in the parish hall, so to get to that area from the hall they have to walk all the way around the church, and assuming that the gate is open, which it may not always be, to assemble in the emergency evacuation area. Previously they would just walk around here and that's it.
If you could speak directly with who was responsible for the fence, what would you say to them?
Oh, I think that they should have had authority to do it first. And then we would have had a chance to say, right, we'll make the fence a bit further out or whatever else.
Yeah, I agree with Helena. I mean, we never knew anything about this until the fence was up there. You come to church one Saturday night and there's the fence.
Why is everybody grabbing the land from the church property? That's no good. Church property is supposed to be saved, not be stealing from the church.
It is parish property. There needs to be the proper consultation, which involves the parish priest very clearly, and that it seems to me the main concern is that the fence is too close to the church.
Church is really the last place I would expect to see something like this happening. Whoever made the decision to put up this fence, they should really have a close and hard look at themselves.
What is behind all this? What is the motivation? What's going on? Again, behind the scenes? It's quite a significant thing, certainly for the parish. We'd like to think we're in concert with each other. We're working together, not in conflict.
Friends must go!